Alright, everyone, welcome back to Champions of the Fog. We're loading in for trial number 1 of Prism versus Despair. It is going to be the Dredge on Hawkins. And not gonna lie, a little bit of a repeat of last match, and I'm super excited for it. I'm your host, Little Regard, and joining me today is none other than Tyro. How you doing, friend?
I am doing extremely good right now, and I am very excited to see this matchup. We have Kego on his signature killer, I believe. Dredge just going to be right out the gate chasing. It looks like Autumn isn't going to be in chase around one of these unsafe pallets, but is just going to leave, doing a very good job of just holding distance and not letting Kego use that power. Going to be running straight around these pallets and up the stairs, getting quite a bit of distance as well. And Kego is just not able to keep up with the resources, putting distance between him and Autumn. Doing extremely well here.
It really is a great hit over the top of the pallet. And like I said, Autumn just kind of being in demon mode, going from pallet to pallet, though now they might be caught unawares of...
Oh my goodness! That was super close. It looks like that pallet just barely did not have the prompt, and that is going to be Kego starting chase again and getting an injury, and every tag matters on Dredge. I mean, you do not want to give up too many tags because Dredge can just take that and roll with it.
No, absolutely, especially with Sloppy Butcher in play. We did see a totem go down early on in the game, so a totem is out of the game already. We do see scratch marks coming in. I think that was a little bit obvious. They get the hit through the pallet. Some nasty hits coming in on these survivors, and they will get the pick, and first hook will be incoming momentarily. It's like only 3/4 of the way on a generator at the moment. But I don't believe there is a pain resonance here, which, again, a little bit of an interesting build. We didn't see corrupt intervention. We don't see a pain resonance. We see ruin, and we already had a totem cleanse, so maybe an undying effect. Kind of wild.
Yeah, I do know that Dredge, it's becoming a little bit more common to not see that corrupt, but the no pain res, I guess there could be a concern over hook RNG, especially on an indoor map, but I believe Kego knows what he's doing here and is going to be chasing around these walls. Very good line of sight blocking coming from our Jake player, and that's going to be running into the room and a pallet. Oh, goodness.
Aggressive teleport. That might have been a teleport that mistaken. Actually, this is a perfect teleport. Multiple injured survivors everywhere, still trying to get a reset through Sloppy Butcher. And yeah, great read using the killer instinct from the power and getting a beat on where everybody is. Do they go for the cutoff? Trying to go for this mind game once again, but it will work this time. 2 slugs at 5 generators. Tyro, are we about to see like a 4K4 or something crazy?
I wouldn't rule it out. I mean, Kego is a good player on the Dredge, I know from experience. And he's actually stopping this generator from popping, and that's going to be Ruin ticking away at the generator during the chase. And D9 actually might eat a tag here. Yes, is going to eat a tag. We have 3 survivors injured now, and Kego is just taking so much pressure by getting these injuries. And now D9 is kind of caught out here. That's going to be another down, most likely. And now, Kego's just mopping the floor right now. And that's a hook right next to that generator with so much progress as well.
Yeah, this... Is Kego just like a straight-up Dredge main? This killer is playing like a demon right now. Oh my goodness, pallet stun scare me.
Yeah, very good pallet stun. I know Kego plays a lot of Huntress, but he picked up the Dredge, I want to say like a year ago. But Kego doing extremely well here. This is going to be an interesting pallet to play, but it doesn't look like Kego even wants to play. He's actually going to go find the healthy survivors and try to get more pressure with that Sloppy Butcher.
It seems to be a good play. Again, playing very aggressively. Yeah, we do find Sable. They did get 1 reset off. And it's a good one to have for sure. And they'll be back into this. Got a relatively unsafe pallet, but I think they hold through again, or do they? Yeah, they held through on the other side. But now, I don't know if y'all have been hearing a little tick up going on, but that is a little Devour Hope gaining some stacks. And with the 3rd stack, Autumn found out the hard way. They've got a little bit of a searching to do, soul searching, if you will. And I don't know if like, they're doing the gen. This is one of the most incredible starts from a Dredge I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's doing fantastic. That 3-stack Devour Hope at 5 generators, and he keeps pressuring this generator with that Ruin. It's just making it impossible to finish anything. And he has the power up, is going to try to force Jake into his line of sight and get the down with the swing. And this is just so much pressure building up. The survivors have to deal with the fact that they haven't popped a single gen, and they have to deal with these totems.
They do. It's wild because this survivor's actually not too far from one of those totems, but I don't think they're actually checking the totem spawn. And that is a 4th stack, 5th survivor stack on the hook right now. If they do one more unhook, this Devour Hope is fully armed and ready. And I don't know if the survivors themselves are ready here. That's the 5th token. Are we going to see a Dredge more? No, they're going straight back.
Did touch the gen. That's going to get rid of that endurance. And now
why
we're
are you saying going to the pallet? He can bore you.
He's dying. But, oh my goodness. This poor Jake. He's like, I got it, guys. I'm dying on the pallet.
Oh my goodness. I have not seen a Mori from this perspective with this skin, but this is... Sorry, my pun. It's purely not intentional. That is the most metal Mori I've ever seen. My word.
Putting up an insane performance, getting a kill at 5 generators with that Devour, and it's just continuously pressuring with that Ruin, with the Killer Instinct, getting info back and forth. Is going to find trees over here, and that is going to be a chase around this window. This can be a tricky one, but with the Dredge power, it does make it a bit easier, and that's going to be a down and a fresh hook kill with the Devour.
Yep.
Goodness.
Okay, a little bit of weird Mori perspective here, but you know, it's still metal nonetheless. You know, we get to see what happens on the other side of the Dredge.
Split Wraith lives on.
Truly.
It just took a new form.
Yeah, these survivors are honestly, they're just trying to get a gen done, and I don't blame them. But at this point, I am sure that Prism's Dredge is a phenomenal player, but I'm sorry, I don't think you're going to be able to beat or even tie this win condition. This is looking to be 4K4.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, both the survivors are here. Kego has all the info he needs, is going to get the down. He's probably just going to slug for this if I had to guess. Yep.
I just
That's
realized
exactly what's going to happen.
We have no UI.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was possible.
This game is
perfect.
working as intended.
Huh. Well, you know what? That just means when we get to Mori the next time, we just get a beautiful Mori.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Oh, wait. No, that is the Nia. I thought Sable got found, but that's going to be the 3rd kill with Devour at 4 generators. Incredible gameplay from Kego here.
Absolutely. And you know what? I'm here for it. I love watching. I've seen some of the best, some of my favorite matches in Coda of this past 2 seasons have been Dredge on this map, especially after the buff. There is, oh my word, they found the hatch too. Oh, that was
all right. Stopped it.
That was so smart of Autumn there. If they had popped another gen, that would have made the win condition that much more achievable. But the Dredge is like, okay, something's not right. They're not coming for it, and that will result in that gen not getting completed despite them trying. And now,
one interesting thing to note about Dredge here is that, unlike some of the other, he didn't see the pools of blood.
I was gonna say, yeah, that was some. I felt like that was a very obvious pools of blood.
Yeah, he didn't see the pools of blood there. I was gonna say that Dredge has a bit of an easier time dealing with these split doors than most killers because of the mobility, but okay, did find Autumn here, giving some nodders.
And we get to see 4 Mori. Like, I don't remember the last time I saw 4 Moris in a game of Dead by Daylight comp.
Yeah, incredible performance from Kego there.
Really, though.
Despair's going to have their work cut out for them next game. I'm very excited to see it.
All right, everyone, welcome back to Champions of the Fog. We're loading in for trial number 2. We had a little bit of a wait as one of the players got disconnected from the internet. I've never had internet issues before. Anyway, we are back in with a very, very difficult win con. And Tyro, what does this killer have to do to get this win? What is this? Okay.
Yeah.
What are we thinking here?
I think we're going to see quite a bit of slugging. That's what I'm thinking. And right off the bat, we have Snapply in chase, going to be around one of these round loops. I'm not exactly sure what to call these, but that is going to be a tag, a bit of a misplay there coming through from Snapply. And that's going to be a continued chase. Autumn going to be chasing Snapply through the center room and down towards the bottom side of the map. We are going to see what is in store for us in this room. A pre-drop coming through, but that kind of enables the Dredge to use the power. Does not get the hit, though. Very good play from Snapply. And that's actually going to force Autumn to leave. Autumn does not want a generator to pop because that would enforce a Tycon right then and there. So
Absolutely.
We're going to see a lot of pressure, and a tag coming through onto Praise as well is going to be just what Autumn needs to maybe get that win con going.
Absolutely. Ooh, we do see them cutting off these survivors. And again, I think they just misplaced their remnant just briefly, as that's the way they missed the shot. And we see a lot of generators in yellow and white, so we are seeing a bit of a informational perk that is very unconventional. But given what, like you said, what Autumn has to do here, it does make a bit of sense. Trying to swing through the pallet, hoping for something, but not able to connect. And looks like they will be leaving Chase altogether, going and pressuring one of these generators instead. That is almost done, too.
I agree with you that, like, the use of the surveillance here, that's going to be extremely good for the killer. And Kego just playing it super safe, not wanting to give up that tag, because we know how dangerous giving up tags can be with the Dredge. And now we're seeing the Nightfall, and we're going to have to see what Autumn's able to do with that pressure.
Absolutely. I'm curious if they're going to be able to sneak a tag onto the survivor or not. I'm wondering if they might be leaving off of it entirely. Checking this gen down here in the corner. Another gen about to fire away, which means that that gen is locked. Oh my goodness, they locked the locker. Curry is going to be running away, checking their corners. Going to make sure, but this actually might be a tag potentially. Also, Ace and Sable have not healed yet. No, bite my tongue. That is when Sable's heal does come through. But they've done a phenomenal job of applying a lot of map pressure everywhere.
That teleport, I felt that in my heart since the door did not spawn there. The RNG, just unfortunate. But that's going to be Autumn in chase now. And Autumn chasing Autumn going to be happening here. And Autumn is going to go for a remnant play around this pallet. But Autumn's playing this extremely patient. Very good pallet drop coming through from her. And now we're going to see a continued chase as well. Or back to this gen with the surveillance.
Yep, trying to get something started, but these survivors are real. I think the survivors smell. It's like, okay, they're doing a lot of hit and run. They're trying to snowball us by slugging, and they're just not having it. They're like, all right, we'll just play ultra safe here. Trying to, but that's the first gen going down.
Yeah, Praise did very good to not give up a tag there. That gen popping is going to put Autumn on an even shorter timer. And now Autumn chasing Autumn yet again. And Autumn's just going to be running over towards the portal room. Not quite going to get that vault, but buying quite a bit of time away from those generators.
Absolutely. And it's rough because both these generators are highlighted in yellow, so they're both being worked on actively. They're both about to fire. And this killer, like, the reset happened right after Nightfall happened, so there's no power being charged. Again, I appreciate the attempt, but this win con was so insurmountable. And that's going to be a tag onto Ace, running back in, and that's going to be a second gen, and that will be the win con achieved.
Yeah, the survivors played that really well, just holding their distance, very clean comms on the teleports as well. And Prey's going to be in chase now, just playing around this very strong pallet. Autumn not quite able to connect that swing and going straight back to that surveillance gen. Does not find anyone, though. The trail of blood, though.
We hear somebody on that generator over in the middle doing the chase on Ace. At this point, I think they're just going to play normally, try and get their hooks going. As I don't think they've downed a survivor yet.
Yeah. It's been an uphill battle for Autumn, and Snapply just winning these 50s. Very good, leaving. But the teleport might seal Snapply's fate. No, that's a very good greed coming through, and the stun. Another generator popping in the meantime. Snapply just making distance back towards these pallets. These pallets have not been broken. Autumn unable to get that down onto Snapply. Snapply running into the corner. We have yet another pallet. 3 pallets in a row right here. All drop, just vaulting continuously left and right. Does not use the remnant. And another 51. Snapply running to the basement.
Wasting as much time as possible, just playing this absolutely perfectly from start to finish. We've seen it before where on this map, some dredges opt to not break the pallets, and more often than not, I think that is the incorrect play. I think you need to break pallets, and they really haven't been afforded the luxury. Teleporting right next to the drop survivor, but I think it's just a little bit too late as that locker was locked. Nancy running away, and the 5th generator popping. These survivors gave this Dredge no quarter whatsoever. And finally getting us a hit on a survivor, that will be knockout, which again, they tried really hard. Wait, there's actually more survivors down here. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Kego went for the pickup, but it is too little too late, not able to quite get it. And now Autumn's going to be chasing Kego right out the door, maybe. It depends on the pathing that Kego decides to take. Kego not able to get, does get hit through that pallet. And that teleport actually breaking off the chase, not letting Kego get to that door. More pallets being dropped, and with 2 survivors slugged, you have to wonder what the survivors are going to do in order to get more outs.
A fair point. Looks like they were heading towards that exit gate, but they actually decided to come back in and stay. They got 1 pickup already onto Autumn. And now, I say, where do you go? It looks like they did get the pickup near basement, which looks like they actually already crawled out of basement. It's good grief. Yeah, these survivors played really, really insane. This is a great showing from the first set for Prism.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they took their win con and, I mean, they did above and beyond what they needed.
Mm-hmm.
And Kego getting that result as well. This pallet here, this could be a bit of a greed from Kego in the area. Autumn just in hot pursuit, going around this pallet as well. Kego making quite a bit of distance, though. We do have Praise, who is healthy, that might be able to take a hit. But Kego kind of caught out here. That is going to be the Dredge power. Tries to go for a 50, but does not win it. Kego's going to be going down, but Autumn refuses to pick. Is going to be going after the injured survivor here. We do see Autumn in the corner, going to be down by Autumn. Autumn was not quite able to open that door. And now we have 2 survivors slugged with that knockout, which does slow down the recovery speed. So I'm very curious what the survivors are going to do at this point, considering that Snapply is still injured. We do see the pickup onto Kego.
Mm-hmm. Particular instincts everywhere, trying to keep track of where they're going, trying to wrangle these survivors. Okay, they finally find the last uninjured survivor, and I imagine we might start seeing them start making their way out of this. Though, to be fair, it would be an impressive set to be like, hey, we 4K forward, and we got a 5-man out with those stages, which it looks like they will be able to do.
Yeah, they just kind of all got out. I don't think there was a single hook stage.
Yeah, there wasn't.
Incredible.
That was insane. That was a absolute slaughter of a first set. But the slate is wiped clean. All right, everyone, welcome back to Champions of the Fog. We're loading back in for trial number 3. Back at it again. EAC reset is over. There will be a -1 hook penalty applied to Prism. They did actually manage to bring a banned perk, and so that is a -1 hook penalty, but that will come into play later if it does at all. It all comes down to the gens beforehand, and we're back at a replay. Hopefully no more bugs, and looks like not too much has changed on both of the sides, which is good. I'm curious to see what's going to come of it, though. Like I said, it's going to be a bit of a slow burn game. Think things change? Think the survivors killer have a different mindset after seeing what the last game was like?
Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, we don't see a tag quite as soon, and Autumn is placing a bit less traps than before, but we are going to see the tag now. That's going to be Xander getting hit, and we did hear a stack as well.
Indeed. Looks like a mind game. Were they just trying to put a trap down and it wouldn't let them? Okay, you know what? It probably was that. I've had that happen before. Looks like they're going to continue to trap up. That is one thing that's nice about this map, is that you can definitely trap and just teleport anywhere. The map is small enough you can pretty much get anywhere, any side of the map. Also, what is this? Is this a bloody mud offering? We see the shackles, but
yeah. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. That is going to be another tag, stacking up that Stabifo and a down. Very good trap placement.
That was a very aggressive down. However, survivors also being aggressive, getting a gen done in the meantime, despite all that pressure being exerted. And we'll have to see what comes next. Looks like they are going to get a reset onto Jake in the meantime. Look at that agitation. I haven't seen a killer bring agitation in a hot minute.
That's surprising. Agi is still a fantastic perk in my mind, at least. But
Oh no, it absolutely is. It's just that normally like the killers have been like for one, I think agitation is actually banned on Nurse, but also just like in general they've been there's a lot of other perks that are, you know, somewhat better at their disposal, like the gen regressions, but
oh,
I don't think this Jake was very aware of where this hag was and found out in the rudest way possible.
yeah. Looks like it startled him, and that's going to be another down. Very good trap
My
placements around these
word.
corners. It leads to a lot of line of sight just not connecting. And if you don't pay too careful attention with the hag traps, then that's just going to be a free teleport.
Really is. That was I think we're beginning to see that like you said, that save the best for last starting to shine real good, as it is now at 5 stacks.
Yeah, and that just allows Autumn to just place traps after hits much more consistently, as we've been seeing. More of a feel-good perk, and I'm actually shocked that we don't see more slowdown.
That is actually a very valid point. You would think there'd be ruin, pain res, like a whole bunch of things, but not a lot showing up. Again, I guess agitation does make a whole lot of sense. This map can be kind of cursed when it comes to hook spawns, but
Oh yeah.
also not as much impact as I was thinking there would be. Still, looks like Sable's about to finish a gen potentially. No, they're gonna interrupt it. No, they're not. I guess they're just like corralling the survivor.
Yeah, I think Autumn's very cautious about this hook coming through once that second stage, a little bit more than this gen being defended. So that is going to be the gen pop right there, but in return, Xander is going to hit second. They were unable to kind of come through to this hallway due to the barrage of traps at the edges there.
Agreed. Oh. And the thing is, if they get too many more hits on the survivor, there's another problem they're going to run into, which is that unhook's going to be a really bad trade.
Yeah.
Like, say the best for last can kind of ruin a trade situation, and we saw Hanatsu on a generator briefly, but I don't know if they've broken off yet. Looks like they stayed on the gen. This survivor might just be getting sacrificed.
Yeah, I mean, Autumn's just kind of camping it out, putting traps extremely close now, just trying to get every bit of, you know, punishment on a survivor misplay. And Autumn has been here the entire time. That's going to be a tag, and with that Stabiffle in play, the distance is not going to be as good, but there it goes. And no survivor was even there to get the save. The other survivors were working generators, it looks like.
It looks like they were, and even with Hanatu cleansing a trap, it looks like we are going to see them progress to death phase. Now they're just desperately trying to crank gens, but now with, again, Hag with one survivor out of the game is going to be free to roam. 6 stacks in hand, and Hanatu being found, this could spell disaster. Though there's not as many traps on the top side, so they do have a little bit of advantage there.
Ooh. Very good tag onto Kego as well. Going to leave 2 survivors injured, and that is a position you do not want to be on when there are very easy to hide traps that are scattered about the map that can just lead to you getting hit at any moment.
Absolutely.
Speaking of which, yeah, they might be in trouble. Another gen popping, but like you said earlier, I mean, there's not too much gen progress being made here, as you would think with how slow this game has been. And Prey's just going to be dropping that 11 God palette, and very strong palette to be using, but look at that distance. And Kego being found might lead to a down, but that slow movement speed from the Hag going to be very abusable at a palette like this. But the trap at the right spot. Ooh.
That was so perfectly timed and aligned. I don't know if Hanatsu knew that trap was there, but beautiful placement regardless. Coming over here to make sure that they can't finish that generator. Agitation doing work. And they're going to be able to hook right next to this generator, kick it, move along to the next one. However, Autumn is 50% on theirs, and it looks like Sable might even be rotating around in the general vicinity. This hack has played some scary lethal killer right now.
Yeah.
Like I said, especially for no slowdown. Like, I had Corrupt and that was it.
Yeah, I mean, they've just been getting good hits. It looks like the survivors were not too aware when turning corners where the trap placement would be. And that's Autumn doing a very good job of just placing these traps in very unique locations. I mean, look at that. I would never guess that there'd be something there.
Agreed. And it
Um,
looks like they will finish the 4th gen in the meantime. We'll see if that trap placement comes into effect, if Sable's able to get past it for the unhook, or if it's going to catch him off guard. Looks like they think something's up. They're going to be heading back to that unhook. Will it be in time? Sable
it's gonna
didn't go
be
for the unhook.
Yeah, I think they're very scared with the amount of traps that Hag has access to. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, they're just kind of placed all around this hook. To where if you try to run and bomb the hook, it's going to be your demise,
Mm-hmm.
especially
Mm-hmm.
with that perk stacked so high.
Absolutely. And second stage will be secured. I was curious if the Hag is going to walk into that room and find Sable crouched there. Doesn't seem to be the case, and they'll be heading over here. And they do smell correctly. This is going to be where the Survivor is. There's no way they fall for that. There's no way that proc's right. Right?
I think that might have been a little bit too far, but I guess we'll have to see. That is
Sable
going to be
coming in.
Sable getting that unhook, but the now Death Hook Kego going to be running away
Mm.
over to the area of the map that does not have many traps on the top floor, at least. We do see a few on the bottom. We'll have to see how Kego plays this. Just resetting traps, cutting off these exit ways.
And I don't know if
Kego
they actually
actually
commit to them.
making... Yeah, Kego's making a lot of distance and is just going to be holding this corner, I think. No, actually holding this very strong pallet. Does see the Hag here.
Yeah, they
But
say
yeah,
the trap is
Hag's actually going
gone.
to drop.
Yeah, this trap that they
Good
placed is
pre-leave.
gone now.
Yeah, that's Autumn making quite a bit of distance away from that generator, and that is exactly what you need to do to abuse this killer's speed. But on the other hand, Praise, with so much progress on this generator, just going to pop it. And now we
Yep.
are down to the exit. Oh, the exit
There
gate
is the...
stage with Noah.
Yep. The no-ed reveal, saving multiple stacks in the process. Survivor
Oh,
hears it. They know where they are.
yeah, Kego
Smart,
was
smart.
not able to open that door. Just trying to get away from this area, but does
Uh-oh.
not. Just jumps right into the Hag's clutches. The trap going to be blocking Kego from that pallet. And it looks like Autumn's just trying to get an out. They just want one out.
Yeah, if they can get Sable out, she hasn't been hooked yet. They could let her crawl over to this exit gate. They might have something, but the Hag is gonna chase out Nancy here, which I do believe only has one hook on them. So 2 stages have escaped, and now the question is, can the Hag find the last 2 survivors? Especially because, I mean, while you will get the you'll get the hook stages for the bleed out on Sable, you won't get a fresh one, which could be meaningful. But they also might just wait. Did they not see the blood there?
I don't think so. And Praise has tenacity. He's just crawling out the door.
Yeah, they are. They're gonna escape through the door. Oh my word. Yeah,
Fresh
that's
hook out.
5 stages out now. And this survivor's
Incredible
been hooked
use of that
twice.
perk.
Oh man. Yeah, this was looking to be 4K 0, 4K 1, but the survivors turned it into a 7 stage. That's
Very
incredible.
well played there.
Really is.
I mean, the foresight to crawl out with tenacity like that is amazing.
Absolutely. And to be fair, with the -1 hook penalty, that was essentially an 8 stage in all all right, everyone, welcome back to Champions of the Fog. We're loading in for trial number 4. It is either the halfway point or the end of the line. We'll just have to find out and see. In the meantime, we have Prism killing with a -1 hook penalty, so they have to get 8 stages to tie, 9 to win in this scenario. And, okay. Completely different build from what we saw earlier. What are we looking at here? What is the thought process?
My guess is that
Wait, there's
we
no
want to get.
shackles. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just realized that.
No, I mean, the shackles. I mean, if you're triggering a trap, you're gonna know it either way. And with the way hag traps work nowadays, the stealth trap isn't like terribly, like. I mean, it's good, but it's not like terribly effective. considering the distance being reduced.
Oh,
Although I guess it's working against him here because they're getting quite a bit of distance off of these traps rather than a direct hit.
true. That one was in the middle of their, you know, putting down a trap, so that might have been the reason. But yeah, no, they got the mud, so, you know, 30% decreased trigger radius, but they got the quicker setting speed. I'll just be honest, I don't remember the last time I saw a hag just not bring shackles. I'll have to see it pays off for him. Again, this is a very different take on how to play hag on Midwich, and that's kind of what I love about these mirrors is not only do they see who's, you know, who's the stronger killer, but it's also just like who's got like more ingenuity when it comes to the pregame. And oh my word, I feel like these guys are playing with him a little bit.
No, yeah, there's definitely some prior knowledge here. That is going to be the first tag, but a generator already pops, and these survivors are coming out of the gate with some gen pressure, and that's going to leave Snappily a little bit in the dark, going to be having to be putting these traps around and getting the tags that he can.
Also, can we just point out that Corrupt Intervention just now despawned? Okay, back to the action. 3 different tags within quick succession, it feels like. And yeah, first gen pops within the corrupt timer, and they still haven't gotten it down. But now they've got a little bit of pressure going, a little bit of but there's only 2 traps down right now, so the web is not in full effect. Dropping this pallet, I think they have to drop Chase and reset their web. They're staying on Chase.
Snappily wants it down, and they're going to try their best to get it, but hag is not the killer that you want to be chasing with just on basic chase.
This
especially
isn't
with this kind of palette. Yeah.
Another generator going down. What am I watching?
Yeah, we're seeing a full-blown chase hag, and that's going to be Ace getting a lot of distance away after breaking the pallet. I mean, the brutal does kind of reduce that, but not enough. You are still hag.
True. Good read. I didn't actually hear Ace there. But you got Serena here, though.
Yeah. Cannot get that pickup, and now we're just back to being a chase hag, and this pallet's also really strong. Oh, but rather than going for the tag there, we're actually going to see Snappily blink away and try to play around this pallet, but there's no way that Snappily can return to that slug, and that's just going to probably be a free pickup from Zarina.
It very likely is. They were trying to, and yeah, they get the pickup indeed. Picker coming
Autumn
back and
in chase now around this library pallet, and very good patience from Autumn there. And rather than placing a trap on the exit and just kind of corralling the survivor into it, Snappily just kind of breaks with Brutal, and it's just losing 50s left and right. And all the pressure that Snappily had with that down is just kind of reduced now, where everyone's healed, and there's definitely more gen progress on the map.
Yep. 3rd gen, just as you say, you spoke it into existence, and we'll say it doesn't seem like it's slowed down there. Survivors don't have as many gens, but they haven't been hooked. They've healed a bunch of there's been a lot of pressure reset. This game feels firmly in the survivors' hands, and I'm curious how they're gonna pull back another swing and not getting into it. How did that not connect?
Another Alexi making distance, not even taking the teleport this time, just trying to get that tag onto Alexi, and that will be a tag.
They have no web. All their traps have despawned now.
Yeah, this is a purely M1 chase hag, and I bet these survivors are just slamming away on gens. Alexi's not even concerned of taking the hag near the gens because, I mean, it's a chase hag. It's not like Alexi's going to go down anytime soon.
And the survivors are tag teaming these, either taking body blocks or ready to harass the traps as soon as they get placed. More survivors in the, actually, is the whole team here?
I believe it. I mean, all the gens are kind of on this side, and I don't think Snappily realizes that in order to place a web of traps around. And that's going to be Snapplily's downfall, I think, because, I mean, we have Sable here just trying to take a tag for Alexi in the chase. And Alexi's going to make a lot of distance, and that's going to be a tag onto Autumn. But now we just have 3 injured survivors. Again, no downs and no hooks. And look at these generators. Oh.
Yep. And it looks like Nia will be in trouble here. But it means Ace can probably do their gen in silence. You've got to kick this gen, apply Eruption. But then you've got to get it down. Everyone's injured. Set your web. reset, refocus. I think the killer is just getting kind of frazzled and overwhelmed at this point.
Yeah, it does not look like Snapply is able to keep up with this gen pressure, especially with the first two traps in quite a while are being placed now.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have a reset coming through, and the survivors are playing this really smart, playing this kind of slow. That's just going to eliminate all that pressure that the Hag just built up.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, they had to reset their web, and it's a give and take. They've been really good about passively just dealing with the web and just... Yeah, no, the survivors have... This has been almost a masterclass in how to deal with the Hag and dismantle them fundamentally. First down coming in of the game and first hook coming in for the killer. The question is, what kind of gen pressure are you looking at? Survivors have completely reset in the meantime besides the hook survivor coming in, which Sable will immediately harass. They want to push the pressure.
Yeah, I think Autumn wants to keep the killer in the area, knowing how close those generators are. Because, I mean, look, I mean, that was a very good death spot from the survivors. Chief is across the map from the generators that are being worked. And if Autumn can just keep the killer around and not harass these generators, that's going to be in their favor. And that's exactly what is happening here.
Yeah, these survivors have just played this so keenly aware. The macro play, honest and quite fairly, like you pointed out with the 50-50s, they won. The micro play has also been on point, and I'm beginning to think that we're going to see Despair take this set, and we're going to see possibly a set 3.
That is likely. However, I don't want to count out our killer just yet because of the way that it works with traps and M1s. And we do have a very special perk in our back pocket that I don't think anyone will be surprised to see coming.
Absolutely.
And
Just
we'll
as
have
we
to
aren't surprised
see...
to see that haste status effect, though.
Yeah. We'll have to see what Snapply... Snapply doesn't actually take the teleport there, is instead trying to get the chase going. And we do see Alexi caught out here at the exit gate. And rather than get these tags, it's just kind of going for Alexi here on the edge map. And Alexi just positioning extremely well, just going to make Snapply work for this. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Alexi force locker here, and that's going to buy so much time because look, that door is not broken yet. Snapply's going to have to carry all the way around on top of the fact that he can't slug.
Absolutely.
So they're going to lose out on any potential to snowball at the end game. And look, these survivors are in the exit gate.
No Blood Warden, obviously, but it looks like they're scouting around for that totem saying, you know what? We had such a good game. Wouldn't it be really nice if we could get that totem and also get everybody out? But like you said, I think they're just going to take the win here and take set number 3 and go to tie breaks. These survivors played out of their minds.
Yeah.
That was
now we have 2 sets where we've seen the survivors kind of pop off, and we've seen the killers kind of pop off on their respective sets. So I'm very excited to see what happens in the tiebreaker now.
I couldn't agree more, and we won't have to wait long as we get that next tiebreaker set up. And if I do believe so, it is... this is the one I was really hoping to go to set 3. All right, everyone, welcome back to Champions of the Fog. We're loading back in for trial number 5, and it is... I'll be honest, I'm in new territory here. I don't know what to expect, but I did not expect a quick tier 2 to be standing on top of the saloon there. What do you think is going to happen here?
Yeah, I think that we're going to see a lot of just standing out in the open and stalking because, I mean, the way Myers works now is we do see you get more value out of stalking from a distance than up close like you used to. And we are going to see a chase here around the village, but it does look like the survivors are running straight towards main. But I think Kego's kind of using that tendency to just run main to his advantage. I mean, just stalking and using that distance to get almost tier 3 off of that.
Very, very true. They do have the J. Myers Memorial, so that stock is even faster than normal. Pretty much 99, like you said, and this is going to be a quick... Not tier 3, but just taking the M1, taking it casual. I guess it does make sense. You can effectively completely negate an unhook attempt if you do this properly.
Yeah. And we do actually see... That is a lock of hair, which actually increases the timer for tier 3.
Really? So it's more than just hair bow.
Yeah, yeah. That is the purple version of that timer.
Really? Okay, okay. I see what you're cooking. I see what you're cooking. They don't want to give this hook. And they don't!
Yeah,
What a
I don't
body
blame
block.
him. I mean, if he was to get that hook, he could effectively camp it to second with no punishment with that duration. But that is going to be a chase here, and it does look like Kego's trying to catch the survivor off guard and get that tier 3 going. We might see an insta down, but that small distance is, oh my goodness, that looked jank as hell.
Yes, it did. I completely agree. Maybe a little bit of a ping scenario there. Yeah, I don't know how that connected, but Pain Res gonna be coming in most likely here. Yep, they will scream from it, hitting the Gallows gen. 2 gens about to fly over here though, and now they pop tier 3, so there you don't have that protection.
Yeah. Survivors are doing very good on the gen progress. We do have some injuries which don't technically matter with the way Kego's playing, and Kego's just trying to look for any information that he can get on a crossover, it looks like, using that main building as kind of a vantage point. And it's just kind of looking back and forth, trying to see if any survivors are going to come for this unhook. But with that duration, it's going to be very risky.
Yeah, I was looking at that duration. You ain't kidding. That thing is ticking down slowly.
Yeah. It's pretty nuts. And Kego's just content to just kind of sit here and wait out that tier 2, or that stage 2. And it looks like that's exactly what we're going to see. Kego does have kind of a 3-gen up here as well. So this is going to be pretty advantageous for Prism. And the Despair survivors are trying to come in and try to get that save. It looks like they're trying to get there that last second, hoping for a break in that tier 3. But the second stage is going to come through, and now Chief is going to come in and maybe try to get that save. Now that the tier 3 is up, that might leave a good enough opening for maybe a trade of some sort.
I think you might be right. And the killer does see, they are aware the server's over here. Great gen setup for them if they decide to take advantage of it. No stock coming in from over there, so the Nia is not that way. Looks like they are going to be going for the unhook. Killer didn't notice it on the side of the screen. And that is 3rd gen going down as they get a tag onto Nia. All survivors are injured, so again, no real reason for Michael to go into tier 3 unless you're just looking for that vault speed. Which I guess the lunge, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I could see there being some benefit, but I mean, the survivors are playing this extremely well. I mean, this is exactly what you expect from an M1 killer like Michael. But that will be a down and a death at 1 gen remaining. We're not going to see any sort of save, but again, Kego does have, I mean, it's not the best 3-gen, but it is a 3-gen up here on the top side of the map. And with 1 survivor dead, that's going to be a bit more difficult on the Despair survivors to break. But, I mean, that main building generator is so far away from the other 2.
Oh. Look at this trade happening.
Oh, my.
I don't know if the survivor wants to do that. Your big advantage is that he has no incentive to get into tier 3, but you don't want to give to him for free. That vault speed and lunge is nothing to sneeze at. You got Bamboozle and that makes... Honestly, he might be a bit of a chase theming at main building, if we're being honest.
Does look like he went away though, and is now trying to catch a survivor out over in village. We have 2 survivors over here, and they're trying to play around this pallet.
I think they left. I think they held W.
Yeah, we do have a very strong pallet here. Kego just trying to swing through it while the survivors greet it over and over again. Very good stun, and that's on the exact side that you want. Alexi not quite able to get that blind though. Kego going to go straight back up towards the top side of the map, and look at Sable just cranking away at that generator.
Yep.
Yeah, they definitely know that Kego is going to not want to commit to going up there. I mean, main building chase is just horrendous on most killers, and Michael has literally no way to get around any of the obstacles around main here.
Okay, this is very interesting pathing on the killer's part. Now I was expecting the stagger going to be a bit of a brutal setup. However, they get stuck, and they get the hit anyway through the pallet. And that is going to be a eruption on the top side jet, and a much-needed pain res for this killer. Oh, that... Oh, my word.
The crow! The bird!
Oh. Yeah, the vulture. Oh my goodness. That is... Okay, we've seen a lot of Vulture play. We saw the Vulture heel teching the Survivor on top of the wagon. Now we see the Vulture denying the flashlight. This Vulture is toxic, okay?
MVP.
True.
MVP Vulture.
Yeah, look at that gen regress quite a decent bit since Sable has got off of it, but... How many regressions event does that have? Maybe 4 on it so far? They popped tier 3.
4. Oh, very interesting. It does look like that they're trying to go for a tunnel out. Or not a tunnel out, but a fresh hook. But since the tunnel out survivor's here, might as well. And gets the last millisecond of the endurance. That's going to be so much distance. And now Michael's forced to go back towards the main building.
Yep.
We do see Alexi here on the backside. And the rock pallet. This pallet is the most annoying pallet in the game because it shouldn't work, but it does. There it is. Alexi going to evade the hit and make quite a bit of distance. That blind is insane. And dying comp corner to boot, just buying so much time for his team.
True. I was about to say he might be punished for not putting Eruption on this generator while he had a chance, but this is not the pressure you want to see on this generator, and that's going to be another pain rest coming in most likely as well. Yeah, it is. Michael's holding his own and getting his pounded flesh with the hook stages, but I can't get, like I said, I think it's going to win in the Survivor's favor eventually, and we're going to see stages.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you are an M1 killer.
True.
On, I mean, a decent map for M1 killers, but still, and there are resources, there are ways for the survivors to play around this, and they're doing a fantastic job. I mean, we still have this very strong palette up. It was never broken earlier, and it looks like Autumn's just going to be playing around it. Does not go for the vault. Very good play from Autumn, getting that read on Kego. Kego unable to get the down quite yet, going to be running right back towards this village pallet. Autumn does not vault, is not going to make it in time. That will be a down.
That Bloodlust 2 ticking in, and eventually Autumn does go down, but I imagine we're going to see the servers doubling up on that main gen. One last pain res for the road, and they will get their fresh hook here, which is what they were hoping for. Now, well, that's a pretty good hook spot, but it's a lot less good when you've got one gen remaining.
Yeah, and that gen is very close. I mean, the survivors do have to scatter. I'm actually shocked that someone didn't stay in the area to try to pressure it to maybe get that early unhook going. But it does look like the survivors want to play this slow. Kego does have vision on the survivors. Is getting that stalk. Gets the 99 tier 3 just right off the bat. And that's going to be valuable because, I mean, if these survivors try to play it safe and reset thinking, oh, he won't go tier 3, I mean, that's not going to be a possibility anymore.
That is such a last-second play. Oh, my word.
That is an amazing unhook. That he had just the right amount of distance to get a lot more distance on the tunnel out survivor. That's going to be Chief, though, going down. Very good find from Kego. But look at the death spot compared to before.
True.
That's going to be more time dragging him back to that hook and no pain res this time.
True. We see at least one survivor already jumping off preemptively. I think they might have thought about what you said. It's like, hey, let's have someone already on the ground to start pressuring that unhook, and that way, if he goes upstairs, we get the unhook. If he doesn't, we have someone upstairs doing the gen. That seems to be what they're doing, splitting the pressure. We see that unhook coming in right as we walk around the corner, getting to apply eruption. But I think you only get one eruption proc from this after all these pain resits. I think you get one proc on eruption, you get one more kick, and I think that's all she wrote for that gen.
Yeah, we do see the tier 3 popped in order to give Michael a bit better tools to deal with the main building. Not the best, but I mean, Alexi is kind of caught out here, and with all the doors broken and the pallet back here kind of gone, Alexi doesn't have much to work with. That is going to be a down, proccing that last bit of eruption, and the survivors have actually swapped generators to a completely new generator, but it looks like Alexi's being slugged.
That is good heads-up play on both of them, realizing that they're going to be going for that unhook. I'm sorry, not the unhook, but going towards the generator, realizing they didn't get a scream, they didn't get any kind of eruption, and the gen didn't proc. They know what's up. Oh, this is such heads-up play for both of these players. Now the question is, can they actually get any value out of the slug? Because I think the survivors, it's going to be a quick reset on their part. This is a lot more dicey than I was anticipating. I thought the survivors going to wrap this up pretty clean, but Michael's fighting back here.
Yeah, I mean, very good play from both sides, honestly. I mean, this is a nail-biter of a match, and it's just teeter-tottering back and forth to whether which side is going to prevail in the end. And I honestly cannot predict from this state of events. But we do see the survivors. They have managed to get out of the area. The regression is happening, but they might actually go for a reset and try to get around the stalk rather than play with that stalk in mind. I say as there's beginning a chase down here on the bottom side of the map.
Yep, we see 2 survivors bound here on the Gallows side dead zone. But that's the thing. Michael has no business chasing down here. Look at all the resources they have left from all the chases that didn't occur here.
Yeah. I mean, we just now see the shack pallet getting broken, and Kego's just going to ditch that chase and go straight back to that 3-gen.
And Dayton looks like it was being worked on. No sign of the survivor in sight, though. I'm guessing they'll reapply a kick and continue on. Survivors are really grinding this out into the long game. Oh, wait. Is that a survivor over to the right, or am I crazy?
You might be crazy. I didn't see, but...
No, there was nobody there.
I'll leave the diagnosis up to the professionals. We do have Kego looking around for other survivors, and Autumn's starting to pressure that main generator yet again, trying to split that progress between 2 generators. Alexi, though, kind of caught out of position and going to be going down, getting that eruption proc.
Indeed, and they're not going to commit to the chase on Nia. I'm about to say, you need a survivor dead sooner rather than later, and this is the way you start getting it. They weren't going to give them Nia, though, as Nia is already death hooked, so that is smart on their part. Don't want to give that up too early. And I do believe Sable is cranking away on the same gen on the other side. I'm surprised they haven't tried to make their way back up to work on the Saloon gen. Maybe they are worried that Saloon isn't necessarily as good of a spot to chase as it was.
Yeah, I mean, Kego has kind of thwarted them again and again on the main building. Goes for a kick, but opens the lock instead. It's a little bit of silly input play there. But does find Autumn kind of caught out of position here. There's no real resources around, and this might be a down onto Autumn in a pretty unfortunate area for Despair. Yeah.
Absolutely, and looks like... that is going to be fair, this is another second hook. This is not death hook for this killer. So now all the survivors are death hook, but they're really stretching those hook stages. Now we see the survivors going back to main building, working on that Saloon gen. Nia keeping an eye on Michael as Zarina goes in for the unhook, but that's going to be a hook trade at best. Yeah, but you have to leave and go to the pallet, hope that you can make it, but no.
Oh, good read. Amazing.
Is this going to be a 4K1?
It might be. The survivors on Despair just are unfortunately just that down into the 3-gen was just a little bit too much to lend the balance more towards Kego. And now I don't think they have the pressure. Oh, that is a good unhook.
That was a crazy unhook from Nia. What a play coming in. And now you got the survivors splitting up. Mind Games coming in. Let's see if Nia can play the pallet better. Vaulting back over it. No, they will go down. And Sable in the wing.
Oh, no.
I think this is going to be lights
out. Are facing their Despair as the 4K1 is imminent. It looks like Autumn is going to be going down. A bit of a window fake. Not enough. Kego getting the down. And that's going to be a 4K1 for Myers on the Dead Dog Saloon.
Really impressive result. As I was saying earlier, just like, 5 minutes ago, this was looking like it was going to be stages out, but Michael, against my better judgment, pulling out all the stops and managing to outgrind these survivors in the endgame. Absolutely incredible, impressive stuff, and well-earned 4K. And now I'm curious. Again, we're in unknown territory. This build is a bit spicy. I don't know if we're going to see anything similar. I don't know if Despair has a different take on Michael on this map. Like, I'm deathly curious what the thought is for this next match. But regardless, we won't have to wait long, as all these survivors are already death hooked, so they will be sent back into the campfire in a nice, neat, orderly fashion via the entity. And we'll be moving on to trial number 6, as that'll be our last game of the day. All right, everyone, welcome back to Champions of the Fog. We're loading in for trial number 6, the end of the day, the end of the matches. We're hanging out with Michael Myers. I would say this is objectively a different build than what we saw before, and curious to see if I pays off. Look at them scatter, though.
Yeah, very good find from Michael. I mean, that is a lot of stalk, almost getting out of tier 1 immediately, just from pure map knowledge. I mean, knowing where the survivors spawn. I mean, that's a great skill to have on a killer
Mm-hmm.
like Michael. And right off the bat, I mean, the survivors had to change their pathing up quite a bit, but there we go, tier 2.
Yep, already getting tier 2. We do see the same add-ons as before, so that seems to be the go-to here. And now the question is, going back to Water Tower, this is a very spread out corrupt intervention, I would say. It seems like it's just on the side. However, I would say this is a horrible spot to find a survivor, because dear goodness, you can see through it, you can get the stalk, though it is slower. I forgot about it. It is slower thanks to the update, so maybe it's not as bad. Maybe it's my old Michael brain thinking.
Yeah, it's not the worst spot anymore, but I mean, we saw Snapply get the stun and just get out of dodge, so that's going to be very good for Prism, just not giving up any more stalk. But Autumn is hot in pursuit on Snapply. Snapply
Mm.
doing a very good job breaking that LOS. However, kind of caught out here. We do have this very unsafe pallet, just going to be greeting it, going
I
for a mind game. Oh, goodness.
I think they're convinced they can get the pallet save. Oh, they were thinking
That's what
about
I
it.
think. Yeah, it looks like they're trying to bait it out and maybe try to delay things here. Autumn is going to go for that pickup, though. Are we going to see the pallet drop? No, we are not.
Is that basement?
And yes, we do see the
Oh.
agitation getting the hook over towards basement. And again, with that duration add-on, that is going to be huge because that is just going to, it's essentially a Bubba camping.
Yeah, it really, really is. And this is where two separate gens are being heavily worked on. This is a really well placed hook. Are we gonna see a survivor try and sneak it the last second? Doesn't seem to be the case. It looks like Saloon's gonna be cranking away. This was one of the best hook positions of all time, given that they were working very handedly on 3 different gens, and now they're only gonna be able to pop one.
Yeah. I mean, Prism had a game plan for sure, but it does look like Snapply's death spot was just a tad too close towards basement with the power of that agitation on top. Just kind of throwing a wrench in it. I mean, they know that they have to get all gens completed. A very good unhook coming through. No one here for the body block, and that's just going to be Autumn body
Uh-oh.
blocking the survivor. They are not quite going to make it towards the pallet.
And you've got tier 3 left.
Yeah, that duration is just insane. It does look like we're going to see Xander forcing the locker
Oh my word.
right as that tier 3 runs out. Snapply just barely not recovered yet. Crawling away with the tenacity, trying to get some distance. Might actually open up some room for a potential unhook.
Killer's
Gonna have to
looking
see
around.
what they choose. Yeah, Snapply does get picked up. Oh, we might see it. Are we gonna see? No, he
Pain
doesn't
res
go for
coming in. Immediate hook, and Nancy has to go right now into the basement.
Yeah, I think Autumn was setting up for a pallet save, thinking that he'd hook basement again, but it does look like it's going to be a bit difficult to get out of here. The stalk, though, coming through, looks like Autumn is prioritizing stalk over getting a tag.
I mean, you've got a survivor that's now, bleeding out to death on hook. You haven't seen a gen pop. You know you got a pain res, so there's only one survivor working on a gen at this whole time. You know what? I appreciate the long game idea, and now whoever's going for this unhook is kind of in a bad spot.
Yeah, Autumn doesn't even want the tunnel out here. Is going straight for the.
Interesting.
Oh wait, no, that is the tunnel out. I misspoke.
Okay.
Autumn
Let's
going
say.
straight for the tunnel out around the main building. Oh, we do see a bit of a head on it.
They don't care. They don't care.
Autumn just gonna walk right through. Is a little bit late on Xander's part, and Xander kind of pathing towards the survivor. Oh goodness!
Wild, and
that is gonna be a death.
They're trying to make it up in the gen progress, though. They have one gen halfway to go, but Michael Meyer is on his way over, it sounds like. Yes, he is. He's got business to attend to. Popping the tier 3. There's the brutal strength kick.
Oh, that's going to give so much distance over here. Autumn not able to make it to anything but this window. We do have a pallet, I believe, in the area. Very good play from Autumn, just camping it. and getting over here. Autumn chasing Autumn yet again for the third time this match. The vault speed coming through, and the lunge not going to be enough. Very good chase from Autumn so far. And now that's going to force Autumn to leave Autumn.
Okay, so I'm not going to lie. I think if they had started that swing just a fraction of a second earlier, I think it would have connected. But I don't think they were counting how much the tier 3 lunge could have factored in there.
Yeah, I mean,
really
you have to
close.
be really used to that lunge distance in order to get a good feel for it. But it does look like Praise is kind of caught out here. The positioning, unfortunate, is just going to be going down here in Village.
Indeed. Is there a survivor over here? Are they stealthing? Looks like they're on Gallows. And Nancy was in the area. Oh, no way they get the save. No, it looks like they're just positioned to get back over there.
Yeah. Might be going for a fast unhook. We are going to see a pain res, and that's going to be Xander just throwing themselves off of Gallows, trying to make their distance towards main. But I think Autumn smells something's up. She's sniffing around
Might be that Autumn bond you were talking
Village. About. Yeah. They definitely have some sort of mental link going on, and I think, yeah, we do see some scratch marks, and that will be Autumn catching Autumn at the top side of the map. But at the same time, Autumn wants that tier 3 back if they're going to chase Autumn.
They can't hide. They can't hide and do the gen. Perfect 99 on the stock. But you can't let them do too many gens for free here, right? Like, you do need to make sure this doesn't end up in a tie.
I think that's what Autumn's starting to do. We are going to see Xander playing around these field pallets, going to be going for 50s, but it's not enough. Does not even have to pop the tier 3 to get that down.
Yep, and that is going to be, I believe, a fresh hook. No, it's second stage on Jake. It looks like they are going to be bigging away on the water tower gen. As Sable is going to rotate around, trying to prepare for that unhook in the meantime.
It's unfortunate that they have to play so slow like this, because, I mean, that just means that there's one survivor working on the generator while Praise sets up for the unhook, and it looks like Autumn's not even going to give them that opportunity.
Very possibly so, yeah. This is, how are we seeing the repair stat? I'm not going to question it. Another nice feature, if you will. But getting back to it, yeah, I'm not really sure how they're going to get out of this. Like, Sable's trying to be close by it and, you know, come in for the save that they can, but yeah, if you're lucky, you get one more gen done, but how do you get 2 more gens done?
Yeah, it is not looking good for the survivors of Prism. That's going to be the unhook coming through and a body block to try to get Praise to make it to this pallet, which does happen. However, Xander going to be hit right at the edge of endurance, just like earlier. But Autumn is just going to be going for that kill. Does have this pallet over here that's very playable, though. It's not the safest pallet. Xander going to be throwing it, and that is going to be a break with that brutal strength. It does look like Autumn's going to be chasing back around the carriage pallet. Very good vault from Xander. Very good double vault. The triple vault. And very good 50 gameplay right here. Xander not vaulting, though. Xander playing out of his mind. Trying to make it the distance to get the generators going. The vault coming through. No! The swing and a miss. Xander not quite able to go down just yet. The firecracker to try to throw them off. Autumn not able to get that connection, but the vaults are insane. This chase is going on super long. The bloodlust is building. Autumn refuses to kick with the brutal. Xander's playing this so well. The vault, though, finally. All empires must fall, and Xander's chase does come to an end.
And to be fair, that is 1 gen down they saved, and it's halfway onto Sable's generator. If they can... Oh, but it looks like it's going to be central, so they're going to be pushed off of it. If the survivors are able to pull this to a tie, it is entirely on the shoulders of Xander.
Yeah. Xander's chase there bought them so much time. It does look like Autumn is just checking around for generator progress, trying to deny that tie, but the survivors, we do actually see Praise off in the distance. Is Praise going to be able to last long enough for Autumn to pop a generator and get that tie to secure their chances of going forward?
A good question. I mean, these are pretty split. You've got these three over here, but you got the far one over at 1 o'clock. Where did she go?
Some incredible
Oh my
pathing
word.
from Praise, just leaving Autumn lost. And now we have this center palette that is extremely hard to play around, but a carriage palette as well. And Praise doing a very good job of delaying this chase, playing around these pallets, but the vault right into Autumn's arms.
As a killer taking a glance around to see where that survivor might have been doing a gen. And it seems like it might have been the 1 o'clock gen. They're going to go check it out, but it is looking like... I don't know how you finish this last generator, but Despair might be taking home the victory here, preventing that 4th gen from firing. There is progress on it. They know the server's in the area. I guess, do you take them to basement and just let them die? Like, this is... I think this is first... No, this is second hook for the survivor. Never mind. Nancy hasn't been hooked.
Yeah, Autumn
This is a pain
going
res,
to
too.
be hooking.
No, it's not.
Yeah, no pain res. That generator's so close.
It really is. I'm surprised they didn't bother kicking it. Very bizarre, but... Oh, did we see a glimpse of them running in for the unhook?
Maybe.
No, it might just be them going back to kick this gen, checking the other gens. Okay, not kicking this gen with brutals like this just give me, like, anxiety.
Yeah. Is Praise giving up on hook to maybe open up some sort of hatch play? There's
it
no
doesn't
way
matter,
Autumn makes
though. They need a
hatch.
gen.
Oh my goodness.
Wow, they actually got it. Okay, where do you go here, though? Where do you get out of dodge? Like, yeah, look at this. Michael Myers is right on their tail. They
Praise
need
just-
a window to vault.
Praise just ran into the open,
Yeah.
gets grabbed.
There's nothing for you to do, I guess.
Yeah.
And all the killer has to do to
Unfortunate.
deny this is once this hook happens, you close the hatch. They can't do a gen anymore, and it's lights out.
Autumn's not going to the hatch though. Autumn, well, no, now Autumn is.
Yeah, they're just checking it out. Yeah, and this hatch kick will secure victory for Despair. They denied the 4th gen being completed. Even if even if the exit gate
Incredible.
is opened, even if they're able to get out here, this was the win condition. Incredible game.
Yeah. Despite Xander's chase and best efforts, it was just not enough. The gent pressure was not quite there. Autumn pressuring this extremely well, using this kind of a different build, and the strength of that brutal strength to secure faster downs just helping out tremendously.
It really did. This build definitely paid off. It was definitely a. Again, the not bringing Bamboozle surprises me with this tier 3 vault, but it worked out. And getting a tag through the pallet, very generous. As we are walking into the last chase of the game here, Mind Game's coming in. They will win.
Ooh.
It looks like we will get to see a Michael Myers Mori. Hide your eyes, folks. It's too brutal cinema. When was the last time you saw a Mori of Michael Myers in competitive? My goodness.
Yeah.
Beautiful. But with that said, that'll be all there is for today. That'll be all there is for this match.